We need to have a very direct, very honest conversation about what is happening in this Lakers and Thunder playoff series. Because the post-game theater we witnessed after Game 2 is one of the most astonishing displays of collective amnesia in recent NBA history. And I cannot let it pass without putting the actual numbers on the table, because the actual numbers make everything the Los Angeles Lakers said after that game collapse under the weight of their own statistical reality. Let's set the scene. The Lakers are staring down a historically brutal 0-2 series deficit against the Oklahoma City Thunder. They need to win in Los Angeles to avoid going down 0-3, which is a hole that teams climb out of at a rate so low it barely registers as a possibility. And what did the Lakers do immediately following their Game 2 beatdown? They held a full team meeting with the officials on the court, led by Austin Reeves, with LeBron James standing directly behind him, nodding along in agreement with everything being said, while the entire Oklahoma City Thunder roster stood nearby watching the proceedings and, by all visible accounts, found the whole situation genuinely amusing. Then the messaging continued after the game, coordinated and consistent from the coaching staff down through the roster. The head coach was vocal in his post-game press conference, expressing frustration about the whistle LeBron James was or was not receiving throughout the series. Austin Reeves went further, naming names, describing a specific interaction in which he claims a crew chief raised his voice directly at him during the game. Reeves said he felt disrespected, that he told the official as much without being disrespectful himself, and that the only reason he did not receive a technical foul was because the official knew he was in the wrong. And look, I want to be fair here. Some of what the Lakers are describing regarding the OKC officiating environment has genuine merit, and we will get to that. But the idea that the Los Angeles Lakers, of all 30 franchises in the National Basketball Association, are going to stand at a podium and complain about officiating favoritism with a straight face, that requires a level of institutional self-unawareness that genuinely demands a response. Here is why. The Los Angeles Lakers led the entire NBA in total free throw differential this season, and not narrowly, by a significant margin. They shot the second most total free throws in the league, while simultaneously allowing only the 28th most free throws to their opponents. Read that again and let it settle. Second most free throws taken on one end, fourth from the bottom allowed on the other end. That is the widest spread in the league. That is the most favorable officiating differential in professional basketball. And this is not a one-year anomaly that can be explained away by roster construction or stylistic coincidence. This is now the fourth time in the last 5 seasons that the Los Angeles Lakers have led the entire NBA in total free throw differential. The one season during that 5-year window when they did not lead the league, they finished second. Over that entire 5-season span, the Lakers have outshot their opponents by roughly 1,100 free throw attempts. The next closest team in that same metric, the Miami Heat, was approximately 700 free throws behind them. The Lakers did not just lead that category, they lapped the field by more than double. These are the people now standing at post-game podiums and in front of officials on the court complaining about their whistle. There is a basketball legend, a head coach with significant credibility and a deep institutional knowledge of the game, who addressed the Lakers' free throw situation in one of the most passionate and memorable post-game rants in recent memory. His name is Darko Rajakovic, and he coaches the Toronto Raptors. His eruption came in the aftermath of a specific game, a Lakers win by the score of 132-131, in which the Los Angeles Lakers outshot the Toronto Raptors from the free throw line by a margin of 36-13. In the fourth quarter of that game alone, the free throw disparity was 23-2. In a single quarter of a regular season game, Rajakovic was incensed, and he said so publicly and without diplomatic softening. His core question was unanswerable. How do you explain that? How does that happen in a professional basketball game? LeBron James was asked about that same fourth quarter free throw discrepancy in his own post-game availability. His response was calm, measured, and revealing in its brevity. He said, essentially, that he felt his team was fouled and the Raptors were not, that the disparity in the whistle reflected the disparity in who was actually committing fouls. That is the official position. The Lakers fouled and the other team did not. Now, here is where the LeBron flopping discussion becomes relevant because it cannot be separated from the broader conversation about officiating and free throw generation. The trend of NBA stars and all-stars dramatically embellishing contact, flailing on basketball courts to draw whistles, has been building across the league for years, and the honest accounting of where that trend originated points toward LeBron James and the era of basketball he ushered in: load management, player empowerment, super team construction. These are the defining characteristics of a specific era in NBA history, and LeBron James is the central figure who normalized each of them. The flopping and contact embellishment culture that now permeates the league at every level is part of that same legacy. So coming into a playoff series and complaining about a whistle, when the player at the center of those complaints spent roughly 15 years training an entire generation of NBA players to flop and flail in search of favorable calls, is the kind of irony that writes itself. Now let's be fair and complete about the Thunder, because that side of the conversation is legitimate and deserves honest treatment. The Oklahoma City Thunder create a genuinely unique and genuinely frustrating officiating environment for every team they play, in the regular season and especially in the playoffs. And it is not just about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's offensive whistle, although that is part of it. It is structural. It runs through the entire roster. It is built into how this team plays basketball every single night. Let's start with the defensive side, because this is the aspect of the Thunder's officiating advantage that gets the least discussion and deserves the most. Oklahoma City has constructed a roster almost entirely out of players who carry reputations as elite defenders. When officials watch tape and develop their sense of what a normal foul looks like from a given player or team, consistency matters. Repetition shapes the baseline, and the Thunder are extraordinarily consistent in how they play defense. They grab, they hold, they apply physical contact on virtually every possession of every game throughout the entire regular season and into the playoffs. Because they do it so consistently, because it becomes the normalized average across hundreds of games, officials cannot call every single contact play. The practical reality of officiating basketball means that what happens constantly becomes the invisible baseline. What deviates from it gets called. The Thunder have built a system that turns their consistent fouling into the invisible baseline, which means individual instances of the same behavior that would get called against other teams simply blend into the background noise of how Oklahoma City plays. Additionally, players who carry elite defensive reputations, and the Thunder have essentially an entire lineup of them, historically receive a more favorable whistle and a longer leash from officials in close judgment calls. When a player is known as one of the best perimeter defenders in the game, the instinct in a borderline call situation often bends toward the assumption that he made a legal play. Oklahoma City has constructed a roster where that instinct works in their favor on virtually every possession. And then there is the aggressor factor, which is straightforward but significant. In officiating basketball, the team and player that is physically initiating contact generally receives more favorable calls than the team reacting to it. Oklahoma City is always the aggressor. They come at opponents with physicality from the opening tip to the final buzzer. They set the physical tempo, they impose themselves, and because they are always the aggressor, the natural lean of borderline calls tends to go in their direction. Now combine all of that with what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander receives on the offensive end, and you have a team that benefits from the whistle in both directions simultaneously. SGA gets a superstar whistle. He has earned it through his performance level and his status as one of the top players in the league. But he also embellishes contact and sells calls in ways that go beyond legitimate contact drawing and into the territory of manufacturing fouls that did not occur at the level they are being presented. He flops and flails on the offensive side with enough theatrical commitment that officials respond, because officials respond to what they see in real time, and what they see in real time is a star player appearing to be fouled. So when you stack the benefit SGA receives getting to the free throw line through contact embellishment against the benefit the team receives on defense through consistent unreported fouling, you arrive at an environment that is genuinely and substantially difficult for any opponent to navigate over the course of 7 games. Every coach and player who has to face Oklahoma City, either in a regular season game or in a playoff series, walks away talking about the same thing. The frustration is real, the advantage is real, it is built built systematically and it compounds over the course of a series in ways that are measurable and significant, all of that is legitimate. All of that is worth discussing. All of that is a reasonable basis for frustration for any team facing the Thunder in a playoff environment. But, and this is a substantial but, the one team in the National Basketball Association that has no standing, no credibility, and no reasonable basis for being the loudest voice in that conversation is the Los Angeles Lakers. Because they are the team that has led the NBA in free throw differential in 4 of the last 5 seasons. They are the team that outshot an opponent 36-13 in a single game and 23-2 in a single quarter. They are the team that over a 5-year period has generated roughly 1,700 more free throw attempts than their opponents, while the next closest team managed only approximately 700. They are the franchise whose most prominent player helped normalize the contact embellishment culture that everyone is now complaining about. When you have accumulated that kind of officiating advantage over that length of time and at that scale, you do not get to stand in a huddle with officials after a playoff loss and make your feelings known about the whistle. You do not get to deliver coordinated post-game messaging about being disrespected by crew chiefs. You do not get to suggest that you are the victims of an unfair officiating environment in a series you are currently losing 0-2. You accept the reality that the Thunder have built something formidable, that their defensive physicality is difficult to overcome, that their best player benefits from the same superstar treatment your best player has benefited from for the better part of 2 decades, and that the path forward in this series requires playing better basketball rather than winning the post-game press conference. The Lakers have not won a single road game in this postseason. They have not lost a home game. The pattern of the series is entirely predictable based on location. To survive and advance, they will need to do something on the road they have not yet demonstrated the ability to do. That is the actual problem. Not the whistle, not the crew chief, not the officiating dynamics that have been present and documented for every team that plays Oklahoma City. The actual problem is that the Thunder are the better team in this series and the Lakers are running out of games in which to prove otherwise. The officiating conversation is a real conversation worth having in the context of how Oklahoma City has built their advantage on both ends of the floor. That discussion has merit and deserves serious analysis, but it is a conversation for teams with the credibility to lead it. The Los Angeles Lakers, the franchise that has led the NBA in free throw differential in 4 of the last 5 years, are not that team. Sometimes the most revealing thing that happens in a playoff series is not what occurs on the court during the game. It is what occurs at the podium, in the hallways, and in the parking lot of the arena afterward. And what the Lakers showed after Game 2 was an organization that is searching for external explanations for internal problems. The Thunder are not winning this series because of the whistle. They are winning it because they are better. The sooner the Lakers reckon with that reality, the better their remaining chances in Los Angeles become, however slim those chances may already be. Tell me what you think in the comments. Is the Thunder's officiating environment genuinely problematic across the league? Or is this simply what well-coached, physically disciplined basketball looks like when it gets called correctly? Make sure you like and subscribe because this series has games remaining and the conversation is far from finished.